What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. This is Web Dev Journey, and today we're going to be just going over all the things that I have done. In the last video, Kumar, thank you Kumar for that feedback, left a comment saying, hey, I don't think people are grasping what you're trying to do. If you could please provide charts, diagrams, or just explain it better so that way you guys could understand it even more. Now, obviously, if you don't understand it, that's a problem that I have to fix because I'm making these videos for you guys to learn. So if you're not understanding it, it's just a waste of my time and also a waste of your time since you're not understanding it, right? So what I'm trying to do right here in this video is actually go through the videos, well, not the videos, but just go through everything that I have done and try to explain it more in detail so that way you guys could figure out, or so that way you guys could understand more on what's happening and why we did it this way, right? So I think the confusion started around the referencing schema. So Passport isn't that big of a deal. Storing a user and storing sessions, we've done that in multiple videos down here. So I don't think that's a big idea. I mean, that's a big problem as well. And also our React.js setup where we use a boilerplate React, I don't think that's a problem as well. Now, I think the problem started to get over here in the top section, storing a user. I don't think that's a problem, but I am going to go over that as well. Referencing a schema, displaying tweets, refactoring our code, the like functionality, and the private routes, which was my last video. So we're going to start off with storing a user. This is future web dev journey. I just want to say something before we start recapping on what we've done, right? And I said it at the end of the video, but looking at the video length is very, very long. So anyways, this Twitter series, like I said, is not really planned. So what we're doing right now, like all these videos, we're just picking and choosing the functionalities of Twitter and then building them out. So there's not really a great structure to this series. It's just, we know that we're building a Twitter series or a Twitter clone, and we're just picking and choosing the things that we want to build out. So yeah, like if you're confused on that, don't be confused. It's just that we don't have a strict curriculum, I guess you could say, on like what we're building out or what things are we building out. So right now, all we have is just, storing a user, displaying the tweets, the like functionality, right? It's not that much to go off of, but you can see that we're getting kind of close to the Twitter clone, but we don't really have a schedule on like what we're building. So I might do that in the next video, just lay out the things we're going to be building there and forth. Just wanted you guys to know I am going to say the exact same thing at the end of the video, but I just wanted to say it now because I know most people won't even, probably won't make it to the end of the video. So I'm just saying that now. We're just choosing and picking the things that we want to build out. It's not really a structured series. And again, I'm sorry about that. Anyways, continuing on with the video. All right. So with storing a user, you might be wondering, why do we need to store a user in the front end, in the client side? Well, it's just to add that customization to those people. To the users, not those people, to the users. Basically, when they log in, you could say, welcome web dev journey, or just always having that nice touch to that user experience just by having that specific user always handy in the front end. Now, how are we doing that exactly? Well, first of all, we need to grab the user from the back end, okay? Now, our user, which is right here, this is what we sent to the front end, or we created a route to send to the front end, so that way they grab the user. So in this route, we're basically returning a name, the user ID, and if they're authenticated or not, right? Is auth. It's going to return a true or false. It's going to return a Boolean, right? So in our front end, what we did was use that user context or create context right here. And like I said, guys, if you do not know hooks, try to understand at least the hooks that I'm using on the videos, so that way you get a better understanding of what's happening. It's kind of hard to make videos when people don't know exactly what's going on, or like how to use hooks and stuff like that. It's just better if you already know it, you know. I'm sorry. Anyways, so create context is going to give us I'm doing air quotes, a global variable, so that way other components could actually know or use that variable as well. In this case, we want that global variable to be our user. So basically, we just created a user context, and we're going to create a context which the initial value for user context is going to be null. Okay, so inside of routes, because this is the first component that's going to mount, because this is our router, right? This is where we actually grab our user in the front from the server side by using the use effect. Okay, now use effect is another hook. Basically, we use this for APIs, and basically this happens, you could think about it as like when a component updated or when a component mounted. In this case, it's when a component mounted, we should be using the use effect. This happens automatically. So once router.js mounts on our front end side, on our client side, this will run automatically and will grab our user and set user by using the use state. It's going to set user to that user we got back, right? And this API service is just another thing that we did in the last video, but let me just go over it right now. Basically, I was trying to clean up, so I created an API where we have our basic things like the base URL and with credentials, and also all the methods that we will need to actually just use in our application. So get user, get all tweets, get user tweets, post tweets, like stuff like that, right? So in here we're using where's our routes? And here we're using API service.getUser to grab the user. Okay, so anyways, now that we set user in the user, now we could actually start using that or passing that down to our components that actually need it. Now, how do we do that? Well, user context, actually, we could wrap user context, as you can see right here. Whatever's in between these two tags, this one and this one, obviously, whatever's in between it has access to that user property or that user value. And we do need to set the value for the user context, because right now, as I said, our user context value is null. So we do need to set that value again, and we're just setting that value to the user and set user. Just in case if any of the components wants to set that user, they can. But right now, none of the components are using that set user functionality. We're just grabbing the user. Anyways, now all these components, which is the login page, as you can see right here, the login, the home, the profile, all of these have access to that user. And we could just see a quick example on how we grab that. So in home.js, we actually grab the user from, we need to use the context since we are using a context. We're using the context user context. Remember, user context is that global variable. So we need to grab that user context and then pull the user from that user context. And then that's it. We could use that user wherever we want. Now, you might be wondering, well, why do you have this if user right here? All right. So when a component mounts, this is going to run automatically, right? But the component already mounted. So this is going to run automatically, yes, but it's going to take some time to actually grab the user. So since that's happening, this is happening at the same time where we mount this component. And you might have some errors. More than likely, you already saw the error where it says that, hey, user is null. You cannot use user because it's null. And the reason for that is because, well, like I said, this happens and then this mounts. But since we don't have user yet, since this does take some time to grab the user back, this is already mounted, and therefore our user is set to null, the initial value null, right? You might be wondering, okay, so how do we prevent that? Well, basically, we're just saying, hey, if we actually do have a user, if it's not null, then render out our actual components, our login, the home, profile, whatever they want, render that out. If we don't have user, well, render out loading. This will be your typical CSS loader, your spinner, whatever you want, but this would be yeah, if you don't have a user, you want just the screen to be saying loading, just to have that good little feeling and get rid of all those little errors that we have where it says user not found or user undefined or user is null, whatever, right? Okay, so I think I explained storing a user. So let's go to referencing a schema, which is the most confusing part of this whole thing, right? All right. So you might be wondering, why do we need to reference schemas? Can't we just store everything inside of one schema? And yes, you could absolutely do that. Let's go and check that out. In our models, right here, our user model, the reason, so you could actually, right here, tweets created, you could actually, push the tweets that you created in here and all the data that tweet has in here. The thing is, you're gonna start boggling down the read speeds on that collection. The reason why is because this user might have, thousands of tweets. So when you try to read that user and try to grab everything, it's gonna take some time to actually grab all of those things, right? And especially if they're the tweets created, this is just tweets created. What about the tweets liked? What are all the tweets that they liked, right? So it needs to, basically it's going to take a while. So we want to prevent that to happening. We want our stuff to be as quick as possible. And obviously a collection works best if it has less data to work with, and which is absolutely true, right? The less data it has, the better it is, or the faster it is that it's going to be able to read it and also write to it. Okay, coffee break. Hold on. Coffee. All right. So the way we prevented that on like keeping this minimal collection is referencing other collections. Okay. Now, obviously, our user schema is always going to have a name and email. We're not going to be using referencing for this because that's kind of redundant, right? Where we want to use references is where there's going to be so much more information, like tweets created, right? This tweets created has a lot of information in it. It has who created it, or we could actually take a look at it, right? So it has the message, the creator, and if anybody liked it, it's going to have all those people that liked it. Now that's a lot. That's quite a bit of information for a tweet. And like I said, what if this guy had 1,000 tweets? Right, is always going to have this information in each tweet, that's a lot of info. So that's why we split that in its own collection, the tweet model collection, right? So in order for the user model and the tweet model to play nicely together, we need to reference that. We need to reference that collection the way we need it, right? So for an example, the tweets created. Let's say that the user created a tweet. Tweets created. Well, the only thing we want to pass in for the user schema is the object ID that Mongo already automatically generates for you. And Rich is referencing right here using the ref key where Rich is referencing the tweet collection, okay? So this type, it's only going to store the ID of the tweet. And let me actually show you what I'm talking about. And I'm pretty sure you guys already know, but I just want to make extra sure that we all are on the same page. All right, we got our users and our tweets. All right, so our user, as you see here, tweets created. So I've created, 9 tweets, but let's just take a look at this last one. So 09E. In our tweets, we got 09E, which is this. This is the tweet ID that we just stored in our user collection. Okay, right there, 09E. 09E has all this information, right? So we're just storing the ID of the tweet in our user collection, tweets created. That is it. So that way we keep that data minimal, right? And we did the exact same thing for tweets liked. When a user or when this user likes a tweet, it'll grab that tweet's ID and store it in tweets liked. As you can see, let's go back in our user right here, tweets liked. I have 4 liked tweets right here, and it just keeps a record of all the IDs of the tweets that I like. So just for reference, 4E75. We could find that right here. Let me see, 4E75. There it is, right there. And this is the please like me tweet. All right. So this is just referencing the ID of that tweet, right? So yeah, that's that. And we also have it in tweet model, where liked is going to be referencing a user, where every tweet, obviously a user liked it. We just want to reference what user liked this tweet. Now, another key point on referencing is if you want to query out, hey, I need the tweets created by this user. Well, Mongoose gives us a pretty nice way to actually grab all of these things. Now remember, this tweets created, the array is just IDs, right? So if you just did a normal query saying that, hey, let me actually go to my services, my user service. If you did this right here, without this, let's just get rid of this right now, right? So if you did this user.find by ID, user ID, it's going to give you that user, correct? But the thing is, it's going to give you the user with the arrays inside of it. So it's going to give you literally this and the array, the object ID back. It's not going to give you the actual information that you wanted, right? The tweet created is not going to give you all that full details. So that's why we added that .populate tweets created. So that way Mongoose says that, hey, we're going to, okay, I see that this tweets created has just object IDs, but where are they coming from? Or where do I need to populate? What collection do I need to go to actually grab it? And that's where that ref keyword comes in place, because now Mongoose says that, oh, okay, I see. So we're going to be going inside of the tweet collection to grab all of the IDs, and that's how you grab all of the data of all the tweets that you wanted. And that's basically the populate, right? We want to populate the tweets created. So every time we grab all tweets, once we do this, we're going to get that user back, and we're going to never mind. I was going to show you. Hey, let me actually show you. All right. So right here, get all tweets. I'm actually going to, where's that user index? Let me see. Right here, this is where we do it. So what I'm gonna do right here is log out, and you're gonna see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm gonna say user tweets. Control save. And let's go to our application. So localhost 3000. And we gotta grab the user tweet. So let's go to profile, and there we go, all the tweets. So we're gonna take a look at what's happening right here. And check this out. We have the tweets created, right? It's an array still, but we have the actual data of those tweets. Now, since we didn't populate the array, or the liked array inside of tweets created, it's going to give us back the array that we asked for, but that array is going to be containing those user IDs. So we need to populate those if you actually wanted them back. But as you can see right here, this is actually pretty minimal, and you could actually take a look at this as well. Tweets liked is only giving us an array of the tweets IDs, right? It's not, we didn't populate this well. This is why we're just getting back the IDs. So that populate keyword is actually to populate everything that we needed, which was in this case the tweets created. And we could do it with tweets liked if we wanted to as well, but we don't really need that. So we want, like I said, we want the data to be as minimal as possible and just grab the things that we actually want. And that is it. All right. And as you can see, tweets created, you can see that we're actually passing user tweets dot tweets created, and that's what we're getting back, just the array of that. That is it. So that pretty much covered the schema. Now let's go to displaying tweets. All right. Now I think I already went over this already, but let's just try to go over that as well. So this is the get tweets, right? So once we're displaying tweets, like I said, our user service, remember the user has all those object IDs. We do need to populate those, and that's why we use that populate tweets created. Yeah, I already explained this. So we're going to just leave that alone for right now. I mean, we're going to leave that alone. We already explained it. So we already explained displaying tweets and how that works with referencing our schema. Refactoring a code. This is just refactoring our server-side code where we created this user service to do all of the things for a user. Basically, when a user adds a tweet, or when we want to grab all the tweets for a specific user, or when a user liked a tweet. This is all the functionality that we do for adding it in the backend. Now, we will explain this in the next, like I said, this is the next video. But anyways, refactoring our code, we just try to make it a little bit better for our server side, so that way it could be easier to understand. Okay. And let me actually explain these routes first of all. Our auth route is literally our auth routes. Just in case you want to expand this more, use a Twitter authentication or a Facebook or a GitHub authentication, you can just create a new, twitter.js and copy paste this. I'm just trying to make it more easier for you guys to actually manipulate this, or if you want to add more things. Also, our user is just literally everything user related. So grabbing the user, grabbing the tweets for that user. So it's going to be /user/tweets. When we want to post a tweet, it's going to be /user/tweet, right? That's everything user related. Now our tweets is going to be everything related to tweets. Basically grabbing all of the tweets regardless of the user. We're going to just grab all the tweets. And when a person actually likes a tweet, how do we handle that? Well, that's how. And that's actually the next video. Our like functionality. Let's go to that. So basically, this is where a person likes our tweet, right? So once they click that heart on that tweet or that tweet card, once they click that heart, we have to handle that. How do we handle that? All right. So we created this route to do that. And don't worry, guys, I will be explaining this in the front end as well. So do not worry. I'm just going over the server side first of all. So when a user likes a tweet, what happens? Well, we need to actually add it into two places, right? We need to add it to the user model. That user actually liked the tweet. So I just say tweets liked for this user. All the tweets that this user liked, we're going to add it right here. And also the tweet model, all of the tweets that people liked, we want to know what user actually liked that tweet right here. And the reason why I'm doing this is because let's take a look at twitter.com, okay? So I think I already have some like videos or like tweets, but let's go to my profile. Let's go to likes. And as you can see, Twitter actually gives us all of the tweets that we liked. And this is something that I wanted to replicate in our Twitter clone, right? So that's why we have this model right here, or for our user model anyways, this is why we have tweets liked. So that way we get that experience on like, hey, these are all the tweets that you liked. That's the tweets liked, right? But also, why are we doing it in a tweet model? Well, if you take a look again at Twitter, if you go to my tweets, let me go to my profile. And if you go to, okay, I see 2 people like this one right here. So I'm going to click on this one. And we could actually, look at this, 2 likes. You could actually see the people, hey Trey, what's going on? And hey Joshua. Anyways, you can see that 2 people actually liked my tweet, right? So I wanted to replicate this feature as well. And the way we do that is by saving the user obviously, by saving the user that liked my tweet. And we did that by creating a liked field inside the tweet schema, and we're referencing the user that liked the tweet. That's why we're doing it in 2 different places, to get those 2 functionalities, right? And let's go to the code now. So in here, what we're doing is actually, oh, is it right here? No, it's in tweet right here. So right here, this is where we're actually adding the tweet liked. And we're using the user service, passing in the user ID and also the tweet ID, okay? So let's go to user service and figure out what's going on. So right here, this is where we're going to be adding that liked for our user model, the tweets liked. This is where we're going to be adding it for the tweets liked, right? damn it. Let me go to user model again. All right. So right here we're saying, hey, we need to find the user by the ID, which was passed in user. And then we need to push, or first of all, we need to check if that tweet ID already exists inside tweet's ID. Now, the reason why we're doing this is because, well, we don't want to have duplicates of that tweet ID. We just don't. Meaning that if that tweet ID is already inside the tweets liked array, if it's already inside of here, then that means that that person already liked it. So if they click that heart again, that means that they want to remove it, right? They want to unlike that tweet. So basically what we're doing here is saying that, hey, if that tweet ID already exists inside the array, well, we just want to pull it. We want to take it away. We want to take it out because they just unliked it, right? We want to take out. Else, obviously, if it does not have it, if we don't have it, well, we want to just add it to that array. We want to push the tweet ID to that array. And that's going to create that like, unlike functionality. And then all we do is user.save, and that is it. And the same thing is for tweet service. This is exactly the same thing for tweet service. We find the tweet by the ID, and we say that tweet liked. If it includes that user, that means that that user already liked it. So once they unlike it, we want to pull that user away. Obviously, if they don't have it, if that array doesn't include that user, well, that's the first time liking it, so we're going to push that user to that array. And then tweet.save. It's pretty much simple right there. That's our like functionality. And then lastly but not least, we're going to be going over the private routes, but that's a little bit more because that's just more on the front end, right? So let's actually talk about the front end stuff of the displaying tweets and the like functionality, okay? Let me get rid of these things. Let's go to the client. So let's go over. See, referencing schema was purely server side. That's why I did all server side for all these videos. Now we're going over the front end for displaying tweets and so on, right? So displaying tweets in the front end. Let's go to our source and let's go to profile. This is where we're actually displaying some of the tweets, right? So what we're doing in the profile is literally using the use effect. So once the profile component mounts, we want to automatically grab the get user tweets. We want to grab the user tweets, okay? Profile page is strictly for just user tweets. That's how we set it up. So every time they go to the profile, you're going to see all the tweets that you've created, that the user created, okay? So we created an API service for that and get user tweets. And then we're just setting those tweets once we grab it to our tweets, right? All right. That's not the problem here. I think the problem comes into what happens when we grab that data. Well, remember in our components, we created this tweet.js. It's just that card. It's just the card, right? I could actually show you. It's just this card right here that has, all that. It's just this card. So anyway, in our tweets, what we need to do is, remember, like I said, this happens and then this happens, right? They try to happen at the same time. So we do need to check, hey, are there tweets? Okay, if there is, then what we want to do is render out all the tweets that we got. So we're doing the tweets.map and just display a tweet card for all the tweets that we gotten back. And sending in the props, sending in some information like the user ID, tweets liked. Remember, tweets liked is just an array. The message, the tweet ID. We're going to be sending in the username and also the key, right? So it's just a little bit of props that we sent in. So let's go to tweet and figure out what's happening, all right? So inside of the tweet.js, we have our message. We're grabbing the message, the username, the tweet ID, the tweet liked, which is an array, and the user ID, okay? So let's go over this right here because we all know that this is pretty much simple. We're just using all of the information like the username, message, anyways. So this liked right here, this use state. What is it doing exactly? Okay, so over here, as you can see, what I wanted that to do was, once a person likes this tweet and they refresh, we want to actually see what all the tweets that they actually liked, no matter if they refresh or not, right? What was happening previously was, check this out. I'm gonna actually set this to false. Okay. Now everything is false, regardless if we like. Matter of fact, I forgot which one we liked, but I know for a fact that we did not like this one. So I'm actually click this one. Now we liked it, right? But let's say that I get out of this. Let me copy this, exit out. Let's go back inside, and you're gonna see that, hey, what happened to my like? I thought I liked it, right? Well, that functionality is because we're just setting it to true and false. We're not actually grabbing that data point, right, and saying, hey, the user already liked this one, so we're going to just switch to this one to on. And the way we're doing that is by tweets liked dot includes user ID. Now remember, tweets liked is an array, right? And tweets liked contains an array of all the user IDs that actually like that tweet. So for this particular user, let's say this user has 123. The ID of this user is 123. We're basically saying, hey, does this tweet, remember, we're mapping through all the tweets. We're looping, where is it at? In our profile, we're looping by doing the tweets.map. We're looping through all the tweets. So this is going to be for every single little tweet, all right? So let me actually go right here like this. So for this tweet, does this tweet like the, sorry, I'm trying to give it away. I'm trying to do this nicely. So we already know that this tweet has an array. So does this tweet's array include the user 123? No? Okay, then let's move on to this one. Does this tweet's array include the user ID? Let me actually refresh. Oh, did I save it? No. Let's save this so that way we could get a better visual. All right, there we go. Does this tweet array include the user ID, which is my user? Does it include it? Yes. All right, switch it on. They actually did like this one. And so on and so forth. Does this one include the user ID? No. Then they didn't like it, so we're going to just leave it off. If I did like it, boom, refresh the page. There it is. It's liked, okay? So that's why we actually passed in tweet like the array as a prop. And this is one place where doing this kind of logic in the front end is faster than doing it in the back end. Remember, there are going to be some use cases. So there are going to be some use cases where doing a little bit of logic in the front end is going to be way faster than doing it in the back end, okay? And this is one of those times where this is just fast and whatever, right? All right, so now you understand this little bit, why we did this. Next up is this handle liked function, which we set on the heart. This is the heart icon, this heart icon. This is just when we click on it, on click, it's going to run this function where that's where you set liked is going to be the opposite of liked, right? So just in case this person liked it, obviously, right here, just in case this person liked it, if we click it again, it's going to be the opposite of what the liked was. So in this case, it was true. Now, if I click on it, it's going to be false. If I refresh, it's still false. The reason why is because we're running that API service post tweet liked. And we already went over this on the server side, right? It's just going to pull and push tweets depending on if it's already in there or not. So yes, that was for our like functionality. Now let's go to private routes. Our private routes is mostly done inside of the routes because this is where everything happens first of all. So in our app, when a user is logged out, obviously they're not going to have a profile page or a home page. And the reason why, or they can't even tweet for that fact, right? And the reason why is I made it where this application is user based. There has to be a user in order to use this website, right? You can't just, well, we could probably, maybe later on we'll make it where they don't have to be, it doesn't have to be a user. They could just browse the homepage and just read everyone's tweets. without liking it or unliking it or anything like that. They're not going to have that functionality. Just read it. But right now, this application is strictly user based, meaning that there has to be a user in order to use this application. So if a user is logged out, or if there's no user, we cannot go to /home. It'll just redirect us to the login page. We cannot go to /profile. You get the gist, right? We can't go anywhere. We have to log in. So once we log in with Google, Web Dev Journey, now we have the functionality of that home page, the profile page. We could even tweet if we wanted to. And that's why we need a private route. So that way we enforce the user to actually log in, sign up, or log in with Google and become a user. Okay, so the way we did that was up above we created this private route function, right? So this private route is going to be strictly for private routes. It's going to determine if a user is authenticated or if they're not authenticated. Okay, and we're using those private routes for our home page and profile page. So we just said private route, which is our component, and we're just passing in. Remember, we're passing everything in as props now, okay? So our component is now a prop to private route, and exact and path home. All this is props to private route. So up above, we grab everything as for our props. We're just splitting out the component for right now. We're grabbing the component separately, and then everything else is going to be in this rest variable. Okay, so we're going to create a route like we always do. We do need to create a route no matter what. We still need a route. Okay, so we're creating a route and we're passing in all the props that is needed. Remember, this route has the exact path and all that stuff, and that comes in the rest, right? We're passing everything, the rest, inside of this route. And route comes with a little function called render, where we could render. It's a nice function where you could do conditional renders, right? And in this render, we're just saying we're going to use the if-else statement, the shorthand if-else ternary. Dude, this was in the last video, and I still don't even understand or don't know how to say it. Ternary. I think it's called ternary. We're using the ternary operator, right? So if user is authenticated, well, what we want to do is give that user the navigation and also the component that they wanted. In this case, wherever they wanted to go, which was a home or profile. So we're giving them the navigation or the component and the component, right? If the user was authenticated. If they're not authenticated, we want to redirect them to the /login or the /homepage, which is the login route. And that's pretty much it for the private route, right? And now over here in our our route for the login, basically that functionality is, all right, now that we're logged in, we don't want them to go to the /home, which we all know that this is the login page. We don't want them to go there because there's no reason for them to go there. If they do go there, we're going to redirect them to the home page if they're logged in. How do we do that? Well, right here. In this route, which is our home page, which is a login page, we're just basically saying, hey, is a user authenticated? If they are, then we want to redirect them to the home page. Now, if they're not, then what we want to do is render out the login component, which is happening right here, right? We are authenticated, so if we go to the home page, we're going to be rendered out to the home page, which is a good thing. So guys, that's basically where we're at this moment of time, right? Private, yeah. That's where we are at. We're pretty much getting close to the end. As far like there's honestly guys, there's a lot of things you could do with Twitter. Like there's just so many things. Obviously, we're going to be doing this comments where we're going to be creating another collection. But man, there's just too many things that we could do, honestly. So if I wanted to, we could actually probably build out the whole Twitter application. Obviously, it's not going to be as optimized as Twitter.com is, but at least we'll have the functionality. But we're not doing that because that's way too much. So what we still need is this comment, right? This comment. We also need to follow a actual user, so that way we could follow people. And if I think of more things to do, that's what we're do. But right now, we're just picking and choosing right now. What are the functionalities that we're grabbing from Twitter? Right now, what we have is grabbing the tweets, our tweets that we posted, grabbing everybody's tweets, doing this like functionality. What else? Storing a user. I mean, we haven't done anything that's pretty significant yet. Not well, in my eyes, my opinion, we haven't done anything significant yet. But we are. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. It's just that we're trying to build out this Twitter clone little by little. And I'm like again, I am super sorry, guys, about everything. Like I know that I haven't done my best on these videos or explaining it. I already told you the reasons why, but that's just an excuse. I'm super sorry. I could have done it way better. I could have found time. I don't have to post daily. I don't have to do these things, but I do them because I feel like I just want you guys to learn. Honestly, that's my whole intention for you guys is to learn. Is to learn from what I'm trying to do, and I did a horrible job on this Twitter series. I've done it horribly, and that's why I'm super sorry about that, guys. Okay, all these other ones I've done previously, so it was kind of easier for me to actually do it because I've done it before. So yeah, having this was pretty easy, but doing a new series like this, just like right off the bat, and then it got me in a time where stuff was happening in my life, more work, basically work related, and where it got me at the point, it got me right here, right? We're like, God damn it, like I gotta work and I gotta do these videos, So I'm super sorry, guys. I don't know how many times I can say I'm sorry. I am. But I want you guys to learn so much. I'm not trying to make you feel. I'm not trying to make you guys feel bad. I'm not at all. I just honestly, I messed up. I dropped the ball on this one, and I'm gonna try to do better on the next videos coming up on explaining it better. Probably giving you some diagrams on what's happening, some charts. But super sorry about that, guys. I'm just trying to make you understand, or give you guys what you want, and I'm doing a horrible job, and I'm sorry. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching my videos. Please subscribe, please comment, keep on commenting, give me the feedback, guys. See, Kumar gave me feedback, and I'm trying to give you guys some good information. Thank you, Kumar, again. But please, guys, if there's anything wrong, give me some feedback, and I will try my best to do it better next time. And like this video if you liked it. Although we didn't do much, we just recapped the whole thing. But thank you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.